Good morning, Methodist Dave here with our daily devotional for Wednesday, April 15th, tax day. So if you don't have your taxes filed today, hopefully you have filed an extension and be prepared to deal with that later. All these politicians are promising us free stuff. We're going to have free this and free that. Nothing is free. Somebody's going to pay for it, and it's probably going to be you. So let us look to today and verse 5 in chapter 15. A fool rejects his father's discipline, but whoever heeds reproof shows good sense. I am old enough to remember that we used to get paddled in school. I didn't get paddled in school, but they were still paddling kids in school when I was in school. And even if you didn't get corporal punishment in school, you certainly got it when you got home. It's no wait for your father to get home. It's like I got home with a note and my mom would discipline me. And then later on I would get round two from my dad. So I would get punished twice for the same offense. Doesn't sound constitutional, but it's life. And a lot of other people were disciplined. People would discipline their children in the store. If a kid threw an absolute fit in the store, the parent might spank them there or take them outside and spank them, but they were disciplined immediately and that behavior was corrected. Now, no one seems to correct their kids at all. And we're being told that spanking is bad and it teaches violence. I think spanking teaches a kid that there are immediate consequences to your bad action. Now, I'm not advocating abuse, but I was spanked. My parents were spanked. My grandparents were spanked. My kids were spanked. We all turned out pretty good. But I see a lot of kids who aren't disciplined and don't know about suffering the consequences of their actions. So they become adults and they are defiant for authority and they try to run over cops or bring firearms to protest and they vandalize and burn buildings and do silly stuff. There was a case of a young man who tried to rob the power cable from a charging station because they figured these are thick cables, they're filled with copper, they're extremely expensive, and he's going to get a little money, and he goes to cut through this electrical cable and zaps himself into oblivion. The parents want to sue the charging company. It's like he was just trying to get a little money. He was only stealing. Well, he was stealing. He was a thief. But the fact of the matter is, why didn't you ever teach your child about electricity? That electrical cords have this force going through them called electricity that could be seriously harmful to your health. Your son didn't lose his life because he was a thief. He lost his life because you didn't teach him about electricity. It's your fault he's dead. Sound a little harsh, but that's the fact. If we don't teach our children that bad actions have terrible consequences, then what happens to them is on us. Don't do that. My grandfather, and I shared this once before, was wiring up a room, and he left the outlet open, exposed. The wires were sticking out, and they were quite clear to tell me, don't touch that or you'll die. So I didn't touch it. Had they not given me a warning, I could have easily, what is that, played with it and harmed myself. But I was told, don't touch it or this will happen. So I heeded their reproof and live. Now, you can try to train your children the right way, teach them right from wrong. They still have the moral choice to choose to follow that or not. And if you've warned them and they do something dumb, if they fool around, they will certainly find out. That's on them. If you don't warn them, if you don't instruct them, that's on you. You are responsible for whatever happens to them. So, parents, teach your children well. Tell them about right and wrong and that there are consequences for bad actions. And a wise child will heed reproof. Foolish child will suffer the consequences of their actions. If you've got a question about this or any other subject, drop me an email, methodistdave@gmail.com. I'll do my best to answer your question, get back to you. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. And until tomorrow, please be good to one another.